Hey lovelies, I wanted to have you get ready with me today for our eyes. We are going to do a fierce and a fun look with a little pop of color. So I've already done my skin, my cheeks, my lips, and we're just gonna work on the eyes. And I have already primed them with my brightening highlight today, which was my Seint White Peach color, which I'll show you, is this one here. And I have other videos to show you how to do your skin and how we pick those kind of colors. But going into our eyes, we are going to put Pup over the top. So I primed it with my cream brightening highlight, and that will kind of color any discolorations and any veins or anything. And it also kind of puts an anchor above the brightening highlight for my eyeshadows. So everything's gonna have a nice flat canvas, and it's gonna allow the colors to pop and be truer, and to help them to stay so that they don't muddy and smear and crease by the end of the day. So it's just gonna help everything to stay put. So Pup is very similar to my skin color, and that just gives me an even primed base. And now we are going to go into Bubba. I use Bubba all the time. If you've watched very many of my other videos, it is a go-to nice neutral brown. And I say neutral even though it's kind of warm, but it's just so versatile. It seems to go with nearly everything in my palette, and I have a rainbow of colors in my palette. And you know, it goes with the cool colors, with the warm colors. It just is really, really versatile. And so I use it a lot. And today we're gonna do this a little fast and furious because I have an appointment. So I am doing Bubba on my crease. And as you can see, I'm kind of working it all the way across in like a windshield wiper. And then you see me go in and kind of swirl back and forth. And that's to just kind of blend that out, kind of blur and soften the edges and move it up. I'm not moving it down onto my eyelid because we'll use a totally different color there. So when I swirl, I kind of swirl up to bring that color up and to bring the height of my eye up and to give an illusion that it is larger, and to kind of soften and blur those edges, and to keep everything really nice and blended. Okay. And I kind of look at both eyes and I kind of want to match up. I had it a little darker on this side, so I just kind of wanted to even that out. And then up here, I had it a little taller here, so I want to come in and match that over here. So this is going to be a simple look, and you can take a really simple basic look and add one little thing that just puts it to another level and just really takes it up a notch. Okay, now we are going to put Sabrina, which is, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Sabrina, but I showed you the wrong one. This is Cupcake. It is a matte. This is Sabrina, very similar shade, but it is a shimmer. So we are going to put that on my lid. It's not too shimmery, not too sparkly, just a tiny dab. In fact, it could probably almost pass for a matte unless you put it on thicker, or unless you put it on with your finger, which really brings out the shimmer in our eyeshadows. But it's just a nice basic light creamy white color. And we're going to put that across the entire eyelid. And I'm using my eyeshadow brush today. I love it. I use it every single day. It is really versatile. It's not the only thing I use on my eyes, but it's probably the one I use most often, and I'm using the big fluffy end, and that just kind of gives me a wash of color. And then I'm going to go into my multitasker brush, this big flat paddle end. I'm going in with the same color, Sabrina, and I'm just going to put a little highlight right below my brow. I don't have a ton of real estate between my brow and my crease, and so I don't like to bring this down very far. I like to take advantage of that full real estate for color, for gradient of color a lot of times, and so I just keep it close to my brow there. Okay, so pretty neutral, pretty basic, pretty light, fairly natural. And then we are going to go in with some color. We're going to go into one of my newest colors, and it's called Dabba-Dee. So Dabba-Dee is a nice, bright, kind of electric blue with a little bit of a lagoon, a Bermuda color. It's got just like a hint of teal to it. Sometimes, and that also I think depends kind of on what you put it with. And we are going to use my line brush today, the flat angled end, which is perfect for a thin, precise eyeliner. We're going to put it on there, tap the brush off to get rid of any of the fallout dust, and we are going to make a bright eyeliner with this on this upper lash line. And that takes the meh, the vanilla, the boring out of browns if you're wearing them every day. And it gives it a pop of wow, a pop of fun, a pop of fierce. And this is a really, really great blue to do it with because it's a little dark, and with that touch of kind of teal, the lightest touch of teal, it just, I don't know, it just makes it seem not too neon, not too crazy, you know, something you could get away with just running around out during the day doing stuff just for a pop of fun. You could also take it to a night out, and so it's a versatile look, at least in my book. Some people may think it's kind of dramatic, but I like color. I like soft too. I like a wide variety. You know, sometimes I wear very, very little makeup. Sometimes I use pink. Sometimes I use browns. That I would be bored doing the same thing day after day after day. And so I like to mix it up for sure. And I love color, and I think it's fun. And I feel like a little kid in art class when I get to, you know, see how I'm feeling that day and see, you know, what kind of look I want to do, what kind of colors I want to play with. It's just fun to me. It's like I've got my new box of crayons and I just get to play. So as I'm putting this along my upper lash line, the thing I love about using my eyeshadows, especially my Seint ones because they're nice and pigmented, is that it's forgiving to use as an eyeliner. You know, I'm just continuing to build color to the darkness I want. It's not like a pen or a marker with liquid liner in where when you lay the line the very first time, that's where it's staying unless you wash it off and start over. It's not forgiving if you use those and if you have no experience. Whereas this, you can make it very thin, you can make it light at first, and just keep tapping along the edge to add color. That way you build it very slowly. There's no major surprises. Everything happens in little light layers, and there's no surprises. You know exactly where it's going, and if you choose to build it and make it wider or thicker or darker, then you do that in little bits. And I love that about it. I've been doing it this way for at least a decade, maybe more. I've been wearing cat eyes for several decades, here and there, but this is my favorite way to do it for sure. Okay, and I'm only bringing it in halfway, and maybe a little over halfway, and I'm kind of tapering it into the lash line at the beginning, so it's not an abrupt stop. It kind of tapers in to meet it. And if I feel like I've got a spot that doesn't taper enough, then I just pull down the eye color over it right at that spot, and that makes it taper perfectly. So you can see it came down just very lightly on my lower lash line, and because it did that, I wasn't going to do anything with my lower lash line today. We'll think about it. We may leave that and smudge it out, and we may remove it. Let's go ahead and, hold on, let's go ahead and, because we're doing fun and fierce, I'm gonna go ahead and wing this out a little more. And that's the great thing about using these saturated eyeshadows, because it's so easy to change direction and to build and to add, and things are soft enough and not too sharp to where everything just blends in and you can't tell. There's no jaggedness to the line of where you stopped one thing and started another. And then I'm just sharpening up that line at the top because it was getting a little lighter. Okay. And I wanted kind of a thicker line because I want you to be able to see that when I open my eyes and even after I put on my mascara. So let's go ahead and put on the mascara. And then I like to do that when I'm about 95% of the way done with my eye look, because I use a black mascara, and that will tell me, sometimes it washes things out, and so that'll tell me if I need to add more of anything, if I need to thicken anything, if I need to darken anything or add more, and that'll tell us what the final look is going to look like, and so where I may need to touch up. On my cheeks today, I used Ballerina. It's kind of a really, really nice light nude color, maybe with a tiny touch of pink. And I just went kind of light. Since we were going to do such a pop of color on my eyes, I just kind of went light and easy. And then on my lips, I have that Ballerina color and a little bit of Hollywood, which is another one of our Seint lip and cheeks. It kind of reminds me of NARS peachy pink blushes because it's just got that little bit of golden, almost shimmer to it. So, okay, so now I have that on and I can see the fallout of some dust that has come down. So I'm just gonna take a random fluffy brush and wipe that away, because that will do the least amount of mess. But I still have areas that I need to go back in, and where the blue is kind of lingering and was kind of pushed into my skin. And so I'm going in with the Q-tip and getting that, because that is not going to blend in at all. You don't want a blue under eye. Okay, and usually, oftentimes the brush will wipe it away. Sometimes you'll have to go in there with the Q-tip, and once in a while it will be dark enough or smushed in enough that you have to add a little bit of lotion onto your Q-tip. But if you're going that far, that's the last result, because if you're going that far to add the lotion, then you're also taking away your highlight color that you've laid, which is our foundation and our brightening highlight, kind of like what you would think of as a concealer in a way, concealer illuminator. And so we're going to have to touch up those things right there under my eye that this is pulling off. But I didn't want it to make it look like I have really bad bags or dark circles under my eye, or like I'm bruised. And so I definitely wanted to get rid of any hint of the blue. Okay, so now I just go back in with my brightening highlight, which I showed you a minute ago. Today is White Peach, and I'm going to go in with my detail brush. It's my favorite for this, and I'm going to go in lightly under my eye area and just kind of brighten things up there. Okay, so a lot of times I will do a lower lash line, but I'm really liking the very, very subtle. I would take it away, but I think it looks fine with that little bit of blue that bled through on the bottom. And the only thing I'm going to do is I am going to darken up this area a little on the crease, just so it gives more of a pop against that blue. So I'm going to use my same brush, the eyeshadow brush, but I'm going to use the smaller end, the tapered pencil brush end, because that is a lot denser and it's going to pack on the color a little better. So I'm still going to go with that Bubba color that we used on the crease, but using this brush will just pack it on a little heavier, and we're just going to focus that on this outside edge, that outer half of my crease, just to kind of make that pop more, give it a little more color. And then I'll turn around my brush and I'll kind of fluff it a little so it blends in with the other stuff we had there. Okay, and let's go a little darker. Let's add a little bit, let's start with Basic. Basic is this nice flat kind of fawn brown, and I want to darken it a little bit more so that it kind of matches the line a little bit, the structure of the line, and just kind of makes it pop more. And so I'm taking it along the bottom of my crease just to kind of make things pop more. And if I were going to go out, like for a night out or something, I would probably, I love a cat eye, I've said it many, many times, I would probably take my wing out even farther. You could widen it a little more if you want. We'll go ahead and show you this, because if we're gonna go for it, we might as well go for it. And you see how having that nice darker brow, and that wing just gives it more oomph. Such a pretty color. I love it. Dabba Dee. I always want to sing, there's like this 90s song, I think it's like an early 90s song, and it's like, she says something similar to that, like Dabba Dee, Dabba Da or something. Can't think of what it is, but that's what it reminds me of. So, okay, I think it's super pretty. I love the blue. It's a fun pop of color. It's not too over the top. It's not 1980s completely. It's certainly not 1960s. And so I think it turned out really well. So if you want any of these colors, let me know and we can get you hooked up, and like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what else you would like to see in makeup and beauty, and I'll work on that. And thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you soon.